Hi everyone, I just wanted to add a quick disclaimer here about this video. It may be sensitive to some listeners. Remember, this is not for everyone. If it doesn't apply to you, it does not apply to you. I understand that there are some success stories regarding this demographic, but at the same time, I believe that there's also another demographic in which these type of relationships can be damaging and even life-altering, not only for the young men, but also for the women they may get involved with. So with that being said, guys, I don't want anyone to act as if I'm speaking directly to you. I need you to be open-minded, hear what I have to say. I'm open to opinions, provided that they are respectful. So again, this is my disclaimer. Please listen with an open mind. And I also believe so often young boys and men, well, let's talk about our youth. Young boys, a lot of times they're overlooked, right? You just figure, oh, they'll figure things out, and we may pay more attention to the girls. But they do matter, even as young boys, teens, and as young adults. So here we go. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for stopping by. Guys, I'm gonna get right into this because this is gonna be a topic I'm sure that a lot of people might be upset about. I might lose subscribers for it, but I'm giving my opinion. I have another channel, it's called Big Sister. And on that channel, I talk about a lot of practical topics. So do check out that channel, guys, and consider subscribing to it. Here, I'm going to talk about it a little bit because on this channel, I do talk about a little bit of everything. And I wanted to give my opinion on what I think about older women dating younger men. Now, my other channel, I do talk about older men dating younger girls. My opinion on that, and that's over on that channel. I also just did a video that says, I will leave you. That's over on that channel. So guys, check it out. If I remember, I will leave the link below. As I said, it's a baby channel, so give it some love, give it some support. All right. As I said on that other channel, I talked about this and about older women dating younger men. And as I said over there, I am aware that there are some success stories. There are couples who have been together for a long time and it worked out. I'm not saying that it does not work out. It has. There are testimonials. But I can't help but believe that if upon closer scrutiny, you would find that there have been some sacrifices and some things that have been made, decisions, and even resolutions that were made to make this relationship work that might have been difficult, especially for that young person. Okay? Things as far as having children, things in terms of just things that they could have experienced in life experiences. A lot of times when you're with an older person, it's going to be changed considerably. As I said on that other channel, there's a great age gap, okay? Especially when you're talking about someone who's in their 40s, trying to go out with someone 40s and 50s, going out with someone in their 20s. I believe that you should not do that. That is my opinion only. And I'm just giving you my opinion. Please, I want to say this. If you have a different opinion about it, please leave it respectfully because just don't talk crazy, okay? Everybody gets, real jazzy on the internet. Just have a decent conversations. It's okay for us to agree to disagree. And this is just my opinion. You're in your 40s and 50s. You've already been 20. You've already done 20 already. Perhaps you had all the fun you could have had in your 20s, or maybe you did not, but that's not the point. In your 20s, that is just that time of your life where you're just going to be, it's the highlight of just life, okay, in your 20s. Normally, okay? We understand people in different countries experience different things, but on average, your 20s is a time that you are figuring out yourself, who you are. You're growing into yourself, trying to figure out where you fit into the world, trying to gain your independence, going to school, working, whatever, falling in love or not, being rejected or not, whatever it is, that's what your 20s are for. It's you're no longer a teen, you're 18, 19, you hit 20, now you're on this path of finding yourself. And that's what's going on with someone who's in 20s and they're still kids. The human brain does not fully develop till you're in your late 20s. Okay, so let's think about that. The human brain is not completely developed until you're in your 20s. The bones in the body, we're born with over 300 bones in our bodies, and they continue to fuse and fuse and fuse until they get down to the 270 something bones that we have. That does not end, that does not finish its process until you are in your mid to late, normally mid-ish, okay, 25, 27, 28 years old. Your brain, your bones are now fusing to the 200 and something out of the 300 you were born with, and your brain fully develops in your 20s. That means a lot of things are going to shift and change. There's a lot going on. And if an older person, in my opinion, is coming to someone who's younger, an older woman, it's just not a fair platform. It's just not. Why? Because a lot of times this guy is so young. He has nothing to offer you other than his youth and his body. If we're honest, that's what a lot of people are looking at. They're not looking like, oh, he has potential for future. You're looking at his youth. You're looking at his young body and his boyish, shy ways. And a lot of times how that he's so impressed by you easily. But the reason why a lot of times he's so impressed because he doesn't have a car yet. Or if he has one, he has this little beat up one that his parents got him or that he bought. It's not like your car. He's not making the type of money that you're making yet. He doesn't have the living situations that you have. He's living in an apartment. He's staying with his parents. You have a house. You have a condo. You have property. You have things because you're advanced. Okay, you've already done the things that he is still needing to do or will eventually do. So he's going to be impressed with that. He's going to be impressed with things that people in your age group is not going to be impressed by. Men in your age group who's accomplished the things that you have, they're not going to be impressed by that. And even those who have not accomplished the things that you have, a lot of times they're not impressed. They're pretending to be impressed to get your stuff, and that's it. In some cases. I think just as a fruit on a tree that is ripening is what it is to be young. And when you're getting that man in his 20s, you're not giving him the opportunity to grow into the man that he will become. And I think sometimes a lot of that women are not willing to wait for someone. I say you shouldn't date anyone unless they're in their 30s, mid 30s. And if he still wants to be with you, you still want to be with him, then it's fine. But a lot of times some women don't want to date these men in their 30s because why? They have life experiences and they're not going to be as easily pliable as a 20-year-old who doesn't have a car yet or who's driving around a little whatever, and you're driving around in your glamorous car, and he's going to be impressed by you, and he's going to be impressed by everything, and you're paying for everything, and you're taking him everywhere. This should not be the natural order for a young man. Men are to be providers and protectors. They have to be individuals who are certain and strong and can make decisions. They have to go through the phases of working for what they want and experience life's challenges. They should not be getting things handed to them except by their parent who are their provider that they're living with, and that should be done in a balance. You can't be the parent, mom, girlfriend. You can't be that. And you're going to default to that because there are going to be differences in the way you both see the world and how you deal with situations. They're going to deal with things like a 20-year-old does. You have 20-year-olds who forget to call their parents back, forget to call their mom, their dad. They don't call for Christmas. They don't do this. They show up, whatever, they're eating, they leave stuff, and because they're still growing. and the parents whip him into shape and they talk to him, say, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. You will be doing that normally as the girlfriend. You're telling him what, and excuse me, you're going to be fussing at him because he didn't call you. He didn't call you back. He didn't think to do this. He didn't think to do that. He's not thinking to do that because his brain is still developing. I'm not saying that men of this age do not have sense or they not can make decision or they're in some way mentally challenged. It's not that. It's just that these little things that, or these considerations, yes, I'm not saying that they should just be totally, they don't hold accountability. They're not supposed to be responsible for calling someone back. They should. Age should have nothing to do with that. But when they're young, they're doing so many other things and they're thinking about so many other things. And they're really just in the state of chill and just having fun and just living life and just dealing with things as they come. Whereas you're in a state of, you know, about preparing, you know, about doing things ahead of time. Your mindset is going to be different. So when you're trying to date a younger man, in my opinion, you are about to intercept, interfere, slow down his growing process, okay? And now he's going to become dependent on you. You're going to be the one making the decisions. Where is he going to take you? He may know some spots to take you for his age and what he can afford. He may be working at a movie theater. He may be working at McDonald's. He might be doing, you know, working as a cashier. All the money he has is whatever he has left over from college, his student loans or whatever to live. He's eating ramen. All he has is this one heater in this one heating plate in his room to cook or a microwave. And you have all this stuff and you're bringing him over to your place and you're taking him all these places. And what's going to happen? The dynamics are going to shift. Because now he's going to become very aware that all he has is, you know, $70 left. He doesn't have a car. He doesn't have this. He doesn't have that. And now all of a sudden, you're providing all these things for him. And with that now, he's not going to have too much of a voice now, is he? You may allow him to drive your car, but you also have the power to take your car back when you're upset. You may allow him to, you bought the house, you did everything, he's in there, but does he really have the freedom? Or will he be somewhat reminded that this is your place and this is your money and this is what you do and this is your stuff and this is when he's trying to tell you, if he has a disagreement with you and there's something you're doing that he doesn't like, how much freedom does he have to do that? He may not even know how to express that because he is not yet at that point. He just knows he doesn't like it. And then you're sitting here trying to have these deep conversations with him that you're probably going to want to have in your 40s and your 50s and your rationale. And that is just going to wear down on him. You want to sit him down and you want to talk to him about certain things, about what he didn't do and what you didn't like and what he's doing, what he's not doing, and if he's spending too much time with his friends and why he didn't answer the phone. And you're going to have these deep conversations about, well, what are you going to do about this and that? And you're pulling him into an arena that he is not there yet. He may enjoy the goodies that's there. You know, it's like you go to a meeting. You don't really want to go to this thing. You don't really want to go to this conference, but you know they have really good food there. And you go and you're enjoying the food, but you are absolutely bored with the meeting and the content and what's going on. You don't want to be there. You don't feel like being there, but there's some benefits to go. They have great food. You know, the vendors come in. It's going to be some great stuff. You can take home some little knickknacks, really cool stuff. You may go for that, but you're really bored with the meetings, the conference, and the different lectures that you have to sit through. You can't wait to maybe go hang out with your other friends after the conference is over. Maybe you go because maybe this event is that, you know, you guys get to go away. You go to a hotel. You guys go away for the weekend. After the work is over, you guys get to play hard. But the process is like, ugh. And so that's what it could be in the relationship. He does not know. Think about it. Even men in your age group, they may have some men don't like to do all that talking and going back and forth. They just let you talk, or they don't know, they don't want to talk right now. They'll talk to you when they're ready. And you're going to be surprised, because you expect them to really come and say something deep, and they only say a few words and they're done. They're meant a few words. You will be nitpicking this young person, this person in their 20s. They're not going to know how to tell you what they're really feeling and express to you what it is that they really want. And I'm not negating the intelligence of a young person. What I'm saying is just the way they think is going to be different, especially with young men. Their 20s. They're not thinking about having long talks and things of that. But then you will bring that. You will bring that. And he's really like, he has no idea what's happened. But he's going to listen because you're older than him. You're going to be able to say things, and in some cases manipulate him to do what you want him to do, because at your age, 40s and 50s, and even in your 30s, but let's talk about 40s and 50s, you ladies already know how to do certain things. Some of you, not all women do this, but you can be manipulating. You know how to give him the silent treatment. You know how to talk around him and get him to do what you want him to do, which is very unfair. And it's not right. He's just going to do whatever you want to do. I believe young people they should be allowed to grow into themselves and to find out what they want to do in their lives. Regardless of how much he may be approaching you and telling you age ain't nothing but a number, and telling you how it doesn't matter, and he seems mature. No matter how big and tall he looks, he is young. No matter how much muscle he has and the height that he has, he is still young. And you're going to figure out those differences when you start to date him. You know, as I said on my other channel, young boys, back in the days, boys were different. In different parts of the world, young boys were already hunting. They're already going to battle, going to war. More so in Western societies, they were working during certain period of times, like the Great Depression or whatever. These people were working. They were going to the coal mines in some, in other times. And for Western society, there's summer break. And the reason why there's summer break is because during those times, the young people, specifically the boys, will stay home during the summer to help their parents with farming. That's how summer break came up. It just never went away. I don't know too many other countries that have months off. When we're off, and our children and family, and we're off, people are in school. They may get like a week off or something, but they don't get months off. This months off from June, July, and part of August that happens in the United States for one. It is because it is something that just remained in American history, where during these times of year, they had to help on the farm. So school was out so that the children could go help their parents do all they need to do during that season, and to prepare for the fall and all of that, to plant crops and all these different things, plant seeds, and also to help on the farm and help with the animals and do all these different things. These young men were working during those times. Okay. But we kept summer, and no one's on the farm right now. Okay. If anything, they're on a farm on the video games or whatever. So young men back then were different. They were more mature in some cases, but when they got married, they were also marrying younger. So they would marry. So if he's like 17, 18 years old, he probably had a wife that was 15 or 16, which was okay for those times. But now, there were some exceptions when we're talking about the kings, right? Their sons married older girls, okay, other princesses, but none of you fall in that category. But they were never placing that young man with someone who was way older. And one of the reasons why that is because when you're older, you are at a higher risk of having a geriatric pregnancy. Well, you are considered geriatric pregnancy if you're in your 30s, okay? And you get older, there are more risks to it. You have more health risks to yourself. And a lot of times women who are in that age, they probably already have children and they don't want to have children. So here's this young man in his youth, probably not thinking about it right now, but maybe would like to have children, and that option is now taken off the table. Now he's young, she may have children, he's the same age, and what? He's he's not going to have any authority. Now he's their dad. What do they have? They have a lot in common. You'll have a lot more in common with your daughter or your sons. So, but there's this weird dynamic. And a lot of times if you marry him, that person, that young man is losing out on something. And at some point as he gets older, he's going to realize it. And he's going to yearn for it. And he's going to long for it. And sometimes they end up leaving you. They end up breaking up the relationship. Because they're breaking away. They're like, hey, I want to be free. And you know why they want to be free? Because you showed up at a time when they were in the midst of their youth and enjoying themselves. And then it slowed down or was diverted. He got really caught up in your world and what you have, which he seemed to be enjoying. But when he finally matures, as that brain finishes its development and he gets older, and he begins to figure himself out, he very well may turn around and say, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. He begin to realize that I shouldn't have done this. And he begin to think that. And he may divorce you. He may leave you. He may start seeing other people because he's seeing now what he missed out on. This is my opinion. And I also think that women, you have to look at yourself, like, think of yourself. Why do you want to date someone who doesn't have a car, who can't afford a car yet, who doesn't have any money, only have movie theater, McDonald's, store clerk money? Okay, and I'm not saying this to be crass or to disrespect anyone who's doing this. I'm follow me here. He doesn't have a house yet. He doesn't have an apartment. He's still living with his parents. He's still just hanging out, chilling, drinking the milk out the carton, whatever. Why would you, as someone who is established, have your own house, have your own stuff, what do you want from this young man? Because being in their 20s, they're everything that you would say a man in your age group. You don't want to date a man in your age group who doesn't have a car, who doesn't have his own place, who doesn't have this, doesn't. So why are you looking at a child? You may say that, oh, he's a man, but he is a child still. His brain is not finished developing. Well, a lot of times, in my opinion, and I think, women have to think about this, sometimes it is for selfish reasons why you are looking at a young man. Number one, it's physical. They're young, they're strong, and they're attractive. Youth is beautiful. Whether it was a young man or a young woman, there's beauty and a freedom and an air to youth. You're drawn to that. The physical aspect, their body, you're drawn to that. Also, their innocence. They still have, it's in their 20s, they still have this innocence and a level of not, they're naive to a lot of things. They're going to be impressed by you. They're impressed by your car. They're impressed by your watch. They're impressed by where you take them. And that may be something that you draw to. The fact that they're very fascinated with your average accomplishments in some cases. What other would consider to be, that's not a big deal. You have a car, I have a car. Okay, you may have in some cases, a more expensive car, but nevertheless, we both have cars. We have transportation. You may live in a bigger house, or I may live in a bigger house than you, and you may live, right now you're rooming with someone, or this man may have an apartment, or you may have an apartment, he has a house. Nevertheless, you still have accomplished being able to keep a roof over your head, you see? So they're not going to be super impressed, while some are. But a young person, oh, they're going to be impressed that you have an apartment. They're impressed. Oh, You have 2 bathrooms? They're impressed. And a lot of times they're going to be drawn to your calm exterior, the things that you can say, your banter, the things that you can say to really surprise him, because you are older than him. You have more life experiences, and he is not yet there yet. So he is impressed with it. I gave an example before about when I was growing up. I had several flavors of ice creams that I liked. Vanilla, of course. Then eventually I tasted ice cream with vanilla beans. And then I loved rum and raisin ice cream. And then so they were pretty basic, okay? I already knew I didn't like chocolate ice cream. I know. I'm sorry for those. I didn't like strawberry ice cream. I'm sorry for those of you who do, meaning I'm not trying to dish your flavor, but I just don't like it. But vanilla and anything, if it has caramel in it, yeah, that's good. But my basic growing up was vanilla ice cream. Every now and then I'll get some rum and raisin ice cream, but vanilla. And then I got older. When I got older and traveled and stuff, later on I realized, I like Baskin Robbins praline and cream ice cream, okay? And I don't get that a lot, but it's one of my favorites, okay? Because it has a lot of sugar. But it's vanilla, and it has caramel swirls in it, and it has bits of like sugar crunchy things in it. It's really good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I realized, I like that too. And then when I traveled and I lived in Europe for a bit, I realized they had different types. The ice cream in Germany is not as dense. It's light. It's beautiful. So I realized, they have gelato and they have these different things that's really good. And then I got to Paris and I tasted different things there. And it's like, wow. And you realize there's a wide variety of different ice creams. But still my favorite, my favorite, I would say, is vanilla and pralines and cream. But I realized there were more. So whereas I first tasted pralines and cream, like, wow, there was more to discover as I traveled more and I had more exposure. So these young men are going to be impressed with some basic stuff. They're going to be impressed by the way you talk, the way you say things, the way you make them think, the way you can you say something to stop them. They don't know what to say. You catch them by surprise, but it is because they are still young. They're still just relaxing. And I feel that when you come in, it's somewhat of an interception. You're intercepting here with youth. I think young men should be allowed the opportunity to live their lives, to grow, to enjoy their 20s, to enjoy their friends, to do the things that they would like to do. They should be with someone who is as surprised as they are about life and things. Some young men are more mature. Yes, there's some that they are more mature, but they still should be left alone. If you want to leave that young man till he gets to be in his 30s, mid 30s, early 30s. And you're going to see there's going to be a difference. Why? I think it's a fair thing to do because now he's enjoyed his youth, his life, whatever. He's experienced some things. He's developed. He's learning how to deal with his finances himself. He's done his job. He's moved from working at McDonald's to getting a little job here, doing something, maybe an office job or whatever job he chooses. He is growing, developing, figuring out himself, learning life, making his mistakes, growing from it, recovering from it, experiencing resilience, experiencing disappointments, learning how to protect himself in the world, how to grow, how to stand up for himself. He needs to do these things so that later on in life, if you guys are going to be together, let's say you meet him, you're in your 50s and he's in his 30s, mid 30s, he can decide. It'll be more of an even playing field here. He has something to bring to the table. You're not the one that's going to be paying for everything and taking him to all these places. He can take you to some places. And when he goes, he'll still be able to focus on you and not be like, wow, we're really, oh my gosh, they don't have paper napkins. It's cloth napkins. He's so impressed by that he's not able to discern you, who you are as a person, because of all the shiny things that's all around them, and the new experiences and the euphoria and the feeling and the new experiences and discovery with you that they can mistake for love. Not to mention, if you are here doing stuff with him, you gonna blow his mind with your ancient tricks. And that grind. You're gonna blow this little boy's mind, this man's mind. And let's think of it. Sometimes you're not even going to have, and let's talk about it, because I've spoken about it here, that, okay, let me put this out here. What I believe in and what we believe in as Christians, that there should be no sex before marriage. Okay, boom, I put it out there. But we do know that in reality, there's people they're doing whatever they want to do. So we're here to talk about the real stuff, and that's what I'm addressing. So some of you are, doing whatever you're doing with him, and he's just, wow. On top of that, he's really had no life experiences yet. He's going to be easily pliable and easy to control. So if he has a bone to pick about something, he's not happy about something, you have this leverage where you're not going to listen to him. Where can he take you? What can he show you that you have not done already? Where can he take you that he cannot take you without driving you in your car, or spend your money? And then you're going to decide, when you're mad at him, you're going to say, give me my car, get out my house, give me this bag, give me that. And he's just going to strip it down. And if he's not ready, he's going to comply. He's going to stop. He's going to listen to you because you hold the keys. And no young man should be in that position. Whether a young man or a young woman, whether you're an old man or an old woman, you shouldn't be in a position where someone could just say, give me all my stuff, and leave you high and dry. So you have so much fear, you have to be silent because this person is holding the keys. Well, this is what happened in some of these relationships. And you can't foster manhood. You see, you may say, well, no, I'm letting him be a man. I'm letting him do everything. No, you can't. You're fostering it. Meaning you're sitting back and letting him drive your car. You're sitting back and letting him use your bank card. You're sitting back and letting him, seem that he's in control of things and make some decisions, but you know good and well that your mind's made up. But you're fostering that. He's in a protected environment. He needs to know how to earn his own money. He needs to know how to make his own way, his own living, build his own house, move into his own place, do his own stuff. Because that sense of accomplishment is really going to boost who he is as a man. And it challenges him in different ways that he needs so that he can really be a protector. And you're not his mom lover, mom girlfriend. And we talk about children, right? You may already have children, or you're at a high risk, or you cannot have children, or you're past menopause. You're menopause, so I don't think you can have children. And he may want children. A lot of times these men who they're with you, they are already taking your ready-made family, if you have that, or he just have to think, I'll never have children. But somewhere in him, he wish he could. He wants to pass his name on. That is important. Not just to you, but to a son maybe. Someone, another him. And he is giving that up to be with you. He may say it's okay, but there may be a longing for that. The difference in age group, you age faster than him, and he will become your caregiver. He may have, let's go back. Let's not go that far into age, but he's going to want to do things. You want to sleep, he's awake. You thought he should have called you. He didn't even think about it. He's like, I just saw you. We said goodbye. Well, you could have called. You could have. And then you're nagging. Or you're giving him the silent treatment. And now he doesn't know how to deal with that. He's young. So he's going to, why are you not talking to me? And you're playing head games with him, which could drive him, to make desperate moves. Or now you're getting your own way. Guys, sometimes it's really... Maybe you never thought about it, but a lot of times it's selfish. And a lot of times if you're the older person, you're the one that's benefiting most. Again, I know that there are success stories. Again, I know that there are love stories. But I want to think in more reality that those are the exceptions and not the rule. I want to say that those are the rare cases. And I also think that if we took closer scrutiny of the relationship and really went just peel back the layers, you'll see that someone has sacrificed something. There is some discontent somewhere, but it's just been laid down and say, well, that does not matter. And then you also run the risk of that person. I don't know if I've said it again already. He may fall out of love with you. He may no longer be interested in you because he's grown into himself. He's developed into who he was always going to be. Because truth be told, if you had waited for him to grow and develop, or this man was in his 30s, he probably would not have picked you. The 30-year-old him would not have picked you. He would not have picked picked you. Whereas the 20-year-old him did pick you. The 25-year-old him chose you because of the stage of development that he was in. It can happen with young women and older men. Everything about him is so great, so awesome. But as you grow, you start to look and notice, I don't know. She outgrows him. Because she may have been just so like, wow, he has a car. Because she doesn't have a car yet. But then she gets older and she can afford 2 cars. And she gets older and she has her own place. And she gets older. And so you realize that these things are just about working hard. It's not a big deal. You work hard, you accomplish this stuff. Whereas you were young and you didn't have it, so you were like, oh man, wow. You were still young. You get older, all that stuff fades, and now you just see him as he is, and you're like, oh really? And it's the same thing, and you're gonna be different. Think about it. Most of the times you're not doing what he wants to do. You're not hanging out with him and his friends. You're not sitting there doing the stuff that he wants to do. You're not going to the little fast food joints or whatever he can afford. You're not really sitting eating ramen noodles. Why? Because you're not comfortable in that. You are beyond that now. So you pull him from that and you take him into your world. You're not adjusting to his world because truth be told, you probably cannot. You're trying to adjust to his world, hanging with his friends, trying to do what they want to do and trying to go to the places and watching the things that they want. You're going to be out of place. They're going to think that you are the chaperone, when in fact you're dating one of them. So think about that. But what happens is that young man is now in your world, doing what you want to do, following your rules, doing things your way. And what I feel happen is it stunts his growth as a man. Because as a man, he should be sitting there having you providing for him and you giving him everything. And you're telling him what kind of jobs, you're writing his resume, and you're doing these different things, and you're telling him how he's supposed to be and what he should not have done and what he could have done instead of this and that and all this, and turn off the TV and do this and that. No. A man needs to feel as if he has earned. He has worked hard. I'm talking about someone who wants to be a provider and a protector, who understands his role as a man. And when you step into that role at a crucial time in his life where he should be developing that and learning himself and building on that, you're going to end up robbing him. You're going to end up stunting his growth. You're going to be the same age as his parents. So why not wait? Well, I feel like there's a fear. Oh, people in their 30s know what they're talking about. Men in their 30s are different. Exactly. So what exactly are you going for? Youth, I believe, to some degree, physical attributes, the admiration that they bring, that they give to you, the compliance, they're pliable, you're in control. You see what I'm saying? And that's not good. And there's going to be a lot of times an imbalance where you're not going to respect him. You see, what's funny about it is a lot of times women like to date, some women, they like to date old, younger men, but at the same time, they're not going to take them seriously. They don't listen to their counsel. They don't want to try things their way, because when it gets down to it, they're going, oh, they're not taking them seriously. You're a child. You a boy. No. Right. Why? Because you've been paying for things. You provide for them. He's living in your house. He's wearing the socks you bought him. All that. So you're not going to respect him because you're used to being in control. And so when it's all said and done, and maybe he moves on from you or whatever, he has been in some way hurt by you. He just has a different view about things. He's trying to find himself. He's not really able to fit in as before because he's experienced things with you that maybe it'd be hard for him to really experience with someone who is his age. So he should be allowed to grow. He should be allowed to experience failing. He should be allowed to experience success, the highs, the lows, the ups and downs, and just enjoying his youth and having a good time, figuring out himself. And when he's in his 30s, and if you're in your 50 and he's in his 30s, and you guys still are in love, then I think it's better for the both of you. He can be a provider. He can be a protector. He's had his own things. He's experienced life in his own way. He is able to see things differently. He's not looking at you through rose-colored glasses. He's able to think. He's able to discern. He's developed. And you are as well. It will safeguard you from heartbreak and pain later on down the line. If he's just like, I don't like you anymore. And let's face it, people who are in your age group can turn around and do that. And at the same time, maybe that young man will never do that. There are young men who are very mature, who are wonderful providers and protectors. They learn all of that. They just have those character traits that are great. But nevertheless, he still deserves to enjoy. These individuals still deserve to enjoy their youth. You've been 20 already. Now it's their turn. You've been in your 20s already. It is their turn. And if you're not willing to just wait and allow them to enjoy that, I'm not saying sit and watching them like a big pervert, but just realize no, regardless of what he's trying to tell you, absolutely not. He's telling you stuff from what he's thinking and feeling right now. But if you can understand that his brain is not fully developed yet, not that he's an invalid, not that he's mentally handicapped in any way, but that he is still ever changing. And as he's developing and as he's changing and his mind and his bones are still fusing together, it means he's transitioning still. So you're meeting him at this point in his life where you are of interest. He's not experienced life yet. He does not have a job yet. He has not experienced the world yet. There's no way that he can be a man to you, but he can be a boy toy right now. That's what it's going to be. And when he becomes that man and he wants to say what he feels and he wants to express himself, because you've experienced him when he didn't have anything and you were the one that was in charge. Very often women they're unwilling to yield and to let go of that. And they're not taking them seriously, and they're not listening to what they have to say. And then they all of a sudden they're speaking down to them. Okay, well, this is my car, it's my things. I helped you do this, I helped you do that, which is going to make you even more unattractive to him. It's going to push him away, as you heard him. And there's an imbalance. So my opinion on it is, despite the success stories, I say peel back the layers, you're going to see someone gave up something, and it's normally that younger person. I also believe that is important that you allow anybody in their youth to enjoy their youth. I don't believe when you're in your 30s and your 40s and 50s that you should be waiting and looking at someone who's 24, 25. No. He needs to establish himself and be who he needs to be as a man. And if he still feels the way that he feels for you now in his 20s, when he's in his 30s and he's established and he's done some things with himself to whatever degree, okay, he may not have riches, but he has work ethics and he's doing things and he has experienced life, then at that point, if that's what you guys want to do, no one's really going to be looking at somebody, you're 50 and he's 35. But when you're 40 and you're dating someone who's 27, people are going to look at you like, girl, really? Don't pick that fruit. Don't pick that fruit while it's still in development. Okay? And that is my opinion. What do you enjoy about this young man? I'm going to tell you what you enjoy about him. Physically. Number one. Physically. The way he looks. The way he makes you feel. The way he admires you. The hints of innocence. That shy smile. His fascination with you. His fascination with your basic offerings. His fascination with the great things you have. It may not be basic. You have a big house, you have this, and it makes you feel good, and he's happy, and he's just glad to be with you, and he's easy to control and even manipulate. And ladies, you have to sit back and really think about that. If you're fully accomplished and you have things in your life and you're dating a man who's still depending on his movie theater salary, his store clerk salary, and his McDonald's paycheck, what are you doing? And I say, I'm not knocking anybody who, if that's what you're making, that's good for your age and where you're at. When you're in your 20s, you're trying to figure things out. You may be living with your parents and just going to school full time. You're just eating ramen noodles, cup of noodles, whatever. You're working over here at McDonald's, you're doing this, you're trying to do this. That's normal for you. So I'm not knocking you. But I'm talking about these women who are developed, have an office job, sitting boards, doing all these things. What are you doing going to the young man with the McDonald's money? 9 times out of 10, ladies, it is sexual, and it's for control, and it's stroking your ego, and it's making you feel good. But at the same time, it's selfish, because if you already stopped having a cycle and you can't have children, or you already have children and you already know you don't want any. How fair is that? How fair is it for you to tell a man that you don't want to have children and he wants children? No. If you cannot give him children, you don't want to give him any because you already have some, because someone else has already impregnated you, that's not right. You need to leave him alone. Okay? And we know sometimes those, a certain age, you mess around and give birth to a sock puppet, right? Because they're a risk. So just leave, just leave those young men alone. I wouldn't say little boys, because I have a son that's in his 20s. And I tell you, I'll be mighty fired up if I see somebody my age getting with my son in his 20s. Girl, go sit down somewhere. You doing too much. Okay, we're going to be here with Stella having her groove back. Okay? But I'm going to take the R out that groove.
Wow.
Anywho. But seriously, long term, you have to think about, where is this relationship going to go? I think when you really love a person, when you really care about a person, you want to give them the best opportunity to figure out themselves and to live their lives to the fullest and to enjoy their youth. And if your love is real and if your love is genuine, it's going to last. You should not be sitting and waiting on him. Go on with your life. Do the stuff that you need to do. Go trim your hedges at the garden, your house, that whatever you have. Go work. Go take your trips. Whatever you do. Gardening, landscaping, knitting, hiking, whatever it is that you like to do, you go and you do that. Because what's for you is going to be for you, and your path will cross at the right time. But no one should be picking a fruit while it is still young. Picking that apple off the tree, it's green and it's not a granny apple. It's just not ready yet. It's still small. It has not reached its size. The taste is not going to be as pleasant. It's not going to reach its full potential. Once you've plucked it away from that branch, it stops growing. It's no longer going to go any further. It's going to stay right where it needs to be. It's going to stay right where it's at in its phase. And to some degree, that is what happened, in my opinion, with young men dating older women. The bottom line, in my opinion, it is mostly a sexual tryst. It is a physical attraction. A lot of times for that young man, it's like, wow, I got an older woman. It's like bragging rights, all these different things. She's got a car, she's got a this, she's got a that. But he's missing out. You want the TV off, he wants it on. He wants this, you want that. You want to have long talks about stuff that he's like, look, I'm just chilling. What are you talking about? When he wants to say stuff and he says things that he doesn't agree with, you're going to be shutting him down because you've been his provider. You hinder his growth as a man, in my opinion. And sometimes you have to examine yourself, because sometimes you may be choosing younger men for selfish, lustful, but mostly selfish reasons, because sometimes you can't get somebody in your age group because they're more challenging. Sometimes they can see through your game. They're not going to tolerate the stuff that you're doing. So you want somebody's son, young son, that you can control and mold and play with. This is for some people. So anyway, guys, that's where I'm at with it. That is my opinion. Let these young men hit their 30s. Let them hit their 30s. But we know why many of you don't want them to hit their 30s. Because, by that time, they're spoiled. They're ruined. I want them young. I want them straight out I want them straight out the placenta. I want them still got placenta juices on them, right? No. It's all a self-examination. That's all it is. And giving them their chance to enjoy themselves and to figure out who they are. And yes, I know that there are success stories. I know that there are people who got together, but I just still, Leave them alone. In their 20s, let them enjoy it. Let them enjoy it. Let them come full circle into who they need to be and wait. Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Not sure if I'll lose subscribers, but I understand that's a part of it. But just speaking and giving my opinion on the matter. Perhaps there's another perspective that you can share and say, no, this is different. And I'm okay to that in the comments. Please feel free to share it respectfully. I may learn something. All right, guys. Bye.